From getting caught with illegal substances to being charged with assault, these are times when celebrities found themselves on the wrong side of the law. Average people break the law every day without much fanfare, but when celebrities break the law, it makes a lot of noise. Take Lindsay Lohan, for instance. Lohan's seen the inside of a courtroom so many times it's hard to keep track. I'll bet she has her very own frequent member card. In 2007, Lohan was arrested for DUI, and 1 month later, she was caught doing exactly the same thing. Only this time, she was in possession of narcotics. She clearly didn't learn her lesson the first time. Little did the world know, Lohan was only getting warmed up and went on to appear in court more than a dozen times. Each time, judges found her guilty in one form or another, be it a parole violation or failing drug tests time and time again. Not to mention, Lohan was charged with stealing a $2,500 necklace. Come on, Lindsay, really? We know you've got money.
Lindsay allegedly lifted a $2,500 necklace.
Why steal a necklace? Surprisingly, for her laundry list of offenses, Lohan was sentenced to only 9 months in the slammer. But she only served 2 weeks of that sentence due to overcrowding. If it was you or me, something tells me we'd be doing the whole 9-month stretch. It seems her fame and fortune may have helped her escape justice. In America, the more cash you have, the stronger your legal defense team is. As an alternative option, Lohan served her sentence either through rehab, house arrest, or community service. Not surprisingly, a significant portion of the public felt she avoided paying her debt to society. With her vast resources, Lohan was able to hire a high-powered attorney named Sean Hawley. Does that name ring a bell? It should. Hawley was a member of O.J. Simpson's legal dream team. It's safe to say Sean was well-equipped to help Lohan escape justice. I mean, if Sean helped the Juice get away with 2 heinous murders, it's no surprise she could help secure a light sentence for Lohan. But let's be honest, no matter the situation, celebrities typically get nothing more than a slap on the wrist. Of course, there are always exceptions. One Hollywood bad girl who gave Lindsay Lohan a run for her money is none other than Amanda Bynes. After a long stint as a child star, Bynes announced in 2010 that she was quitting acting when she was at the height of her career. She said acting isn't as glamorous as it seems and that she didn't love it anymore. Later, we learned that Bynes started using drugs at 16. And only 2 years later, in 2012, Bynes had her first run-in with the law after sideswiping a car. But it wasn't just any car. She hit a police car. I mean, seriously, you can't make this stuff up. Bynes must have been pretty hammered to pull that one off, but the year was still young and Amanda was only getting started. After the sideswiping incident, Amanda was charged with 2 additional hit and runs. The crazy part? They were a week apart. Yep.
How do you think I am?
Okay, Amanda, yeah, we already seen your face, Amanda.
You didn't use it in court though,
I think you changed your hair color, but we know,
Amanda's bad girl years were officially underway. And once again in 2014, Amanda was charged with reckless driving. It was also no surprise to anyone that she was under the influence. As the old saying goes, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. But in Amanda's case, that's just it. There was no jail time. Just another firm slap on the wrist in the form of 3 years of probation and 3 months of alcohol abuse classes. While her cases were piling up on the West Coast, Amanda looked to the East Coast to stir up more trouble. I guess she was going for a coast-to-coast record. Didn't take long for her to reach her goal. One night, police were called to her apartment after staff reported she was openly smoking pot in the lobby. By the time the police arrived, Amanda had gone back to her apartment, but once the cops did show up, it wasn't hard for them to confirm what the staff had claimed had happened. Amanda threw a bong out of her window, which pretty much solidified the open and shut case. Eventually, Bynes' court appearances and wild hairstyles became a hot topic of conversation during the remainder of her bad girl years. Not surprisingly, the paparazzi had an insatiable appetite for Amanda's bad girl journey, and camera flashes followed her everywhere. One celebrity who's no stranger to flashing lights, red and blue that is none other than Charlie Sheen. I guess when you've got tiger blood running through your veins, you're bound to find yourself on the wrong side of the law. Speaking of insatiable appetites, I don't even know where to start with Charlie. The talented star had a hunger for high-end escorts, porn stars, alcohol, and especially cocaine. Throughout the 90s, Charlie racked up assault charges from a former girlfriend. And Charlie's father, the famed Apocalypse Now star Martin Sheen, was gravely concerned about Charlie after a near-fatal overdose. Martin convinced him to return to rehab once to help with his addiction issues. The 2000s were a fresh start for many people, but for Charlie, it was the same old thing. He filed for divorce from his ex-wife Denise Richards. Custody battles filled his time, and the consequences of his actions continue to pile up.
All right, how are you?
Good, good. You glad to almost have this over with?
What do you think?
In August of 2010, he pleaded guilty to assault, which cost him a month in jail and a month in rehab. The list for this guy just goes on and on. Now, this next lawbreaker is someone who began their antics long before any of these other troublemakers were born. It's the legendary Johnny Cash. Not only does Cash have a lengthy list of records sold, but his arrest record is equally impressive. Cash was certainly no stranger to trouble. His run-ins with the law from 1959 to 1968 varied considerably. Cash was charged with public intoxication, reckless driving, drug possession, and trespassing. In 1965, Cash attempted to smuggle drugs into Mexico. A famous picture of him being escorted away by police only fueled his rebellious persona. He was the ultimate bad boy. But damn, you can't deny the fact that he looked cool as hell doing it. Throughout his run-ins with the law, you'd be surprised to learn that he never ended up in prison. In fact, he only ever spent a few nights in jail. So not only did he live up to his bad boy persona, but he did it all without ever being convicted of a felony. He very well sparked the appeal of prison culture, and that's a big reason he's still a big success for this generation. DUIs seem to be the crime of choice for many celebrities. They can turn some of the once most prominent stars into nobodies. Matthew Fox used to be one of the most promising stars on TV. You know the guy from Lost?
Excuse me? Never asked you what you did back in the real world, so taking a wild guess. Lumberjack.
So why don't you hear about him anymore? Well, things boiled over for the star in 2011. Fox was wrapping up filming for a movie when he tried to board a party bus, but the driver wasn't allowing it. Intoxicated and angry, he began punching the driver all over, landing blows on her chest, groin, and face. She filed a civil suit, but the charges were initially dropped. As for his fall from fame, that came after his co-star vocalized how disappointed he was over the incident. It was merely poor pickings afterwards, and like other celebrities, he faded away. Whether they were caught with narcotics or charged with assault, these were times when celebrities got in trouble with the law.